I'd like to start the meeting. Would everyone please rise? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Welcome, everyone. Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting, June 4th, 2026. Adequate notice of this meeting of the Aldrich Township Zoning Board of Adjustment has been provided in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act at least 48 hours prior to the commencement of this meeting by posting in the municipal complex an announcement giving the time and location of the agenda of this meeting, mailing such announcements to Home News and Tribune, filing such an announcement with the municipal clerk, posting the agenda on the municipal website. May we have a roll call, please, Mr. Hollihan?
Ms. Andrews?
Present.
Ms. Gomez?
Here.
Mr. Rizzo?
Here.
Mr. Scogno?
Here.
Ms. Spinelli?
Here.
Mr. Singh is absent. Ms. Fernbach?
Here.
And Chairman Sullivan.
Here. Just a couple housekeeping issues. If you have a cell phone, please silence it so we don't interrupt the meeting, and those that are going to be testifying, I would appreciate that, and so would everyone else. This meeting is being televised on a local cable TV on Channel 15. Simultaneously, it's also being sent out over YouTube Live. If you ever want to refer back to the meeting, find it on, is that me? Find it on YouTube. Tonight, counselors, we have three, and I'm going to split it into 50 minutes from the time we start the first one. The meeting supposed to end at 10 for any public comments in the last half hour. We can be a little flexible with that, but we try to adhere to it. Maybe you're not going to use the whole 50 minutes. We'll see how that goes. Mr. Pat Varga of council to the board this evening. I would ask now if you could swear in all of our professionals, Mr. Varga.
Certainly, Mr.
And
Chairman.
Mr. Hollihan, are you going to be testifying tonight? Why don't you get sworn in as well, please?
You raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Would you each say your name and your professional?
Sure. Ryan McCarthy, the board engineer.
Paul Desi, engineer on behalf of ERI.
Dina Savin, Township Planner.
And Daniel Hollihan, zoning officer.
Thank you very much. We'll move forward. We have a couple other housekeeping items. Minutes, April 16th, board. Hopefully everybody had a chance to review them. Absent any commentary, I ask someone move those for adoption.
Andrews move it.
Second.
Moved in second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Ms. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo?
Yes.
Mr. Scogno?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Ms. Fernbach?
Yes.
And Chairman Sullivan.
Yes, same applies. April 30, 2026. Someone move those for adoption, please.
Izzo?
Is there a second?
Andrews second.
Moved in second. Roll call, please.
Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Ms. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo?
Yes.
Mr. Scogno?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Ms. Fernbach?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. We move on to resolutions. There's two this evening, Counselor. 35-2025Z.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, this is an amended resolution. As the board may recall, the board memorialized this resolution at our last meeting. There was a typographical error in that resolution that is just being corrected at this time.
Thank you. You've heard the resolution. Someone want to move it, please, for adoption?
Izzo?
Is there a second?
Second.
Who was that? Ms. Spinelli? Roll call, please.
Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Ms. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo?
Yes.
Mr. Scogno?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Ms. Fernbach?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan.
Yes. 47-2024Z, Bergen Complex Concepts, LLC. Counselor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members of the board, this is a resolution granting an application for preliminary and final major site plan with use and bulk variance relief for property known and designated as Block 13,000, Lot 19.12, AKA 3699 US Highway 9. As the board will recall, this application received bulk and use variance approval to construct a 672 square foot double-sided billboard that was 55 feet in height as a second principal use on the subject property.
Board members? Someone want to move for adoption, please?
Gomez.
Is there a second?
Izzo?
Roll call, please.
Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Ms. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo?
Yes.
Mr. Scogno?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Ms. Fernbach? Yes. Chairman Sullivan.
Yes, thank you. We'll move on to applications for councilors. There are 7 members seated this evening. 17-2023Z Northwood Manor at Old Bridge LLC. Physical location, that's Jake Brown Road. They're seeking major and preliminary and final site plan. That matter is going to be adjourned to a date to be determined with further notice. If any of you here on Northwood Manor this evening, it will not be heard. So we move on to the finals for the evening. We'll start with the Bentley Realty Group. It's 46-2025Z. Bentley Realty Group, Inc. This is in the CR zone, block 4185, lot 9.11. Physical location is 1043 Highway 9. Major preliminary and final site plan with a D variance. Applicant proposes to convert space in an existing building previously used as a Friday's restaurant for a Dunkin' Donuts and a Jimmy John's restaurant with drive-through office space and retail space. Salvatore Alfieri, Esquire, on behalf of the applicant. Sir.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board.
Did it go green? There you go.
Got it, okay. Salvatore Alfieri, Cleary, Giacobbe, Alfieri, and Jacobs on behalf of the applicant. As the board chairman indicated, this facility or this location is the former Friday's restaurant. The Zach family, who are the applicants, have 4 existing Dunkin' Donuts in town. This will be their 5th. We have Jim Henry is our primary witness. We have other witnesses here if questions come up, but we're going to probably have Mr. Henry present everything, and then if we need a different discipline up, we'll bring them up. So, Mr. Henry, we need to have you sworn in and qualified.
Sir, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and spell your last for the record.
James Henry, Henry.
Over to you, Counselor.
Mr. Henry, will you place your credentials on the record, please?
Sure. I have a Bachelor's of Science in Civil Engineering from Rutgers University, minor in Public Planning. I also have a Master's of Science in Civil Engineering from Rutgers University. As far as licensure, I'm a licensed civil engineer in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, New York, as well as Connecticut. I'm also a licensed professional planner. I'm a senior principal at Dynamic Engineering Consultants. I've worked there for over 20 years.
Thank you, sir. You're testifying this evening as a professional engineer, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I appreciate that, and particularly for those at home, it gives them an idea of who you are and what you're going to be talking about.
Absolutely.
So I thank you for putting those on. We accept your expertise.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So, Mr. Henry, I know you have some exhibits that someone has.
Yes, can we put them on the board? Maybe go through each one?
If not, we have an easel. Should we do that?
Check with Danny on that.
A1, please, yes.
Danny has it. So, Mr. Henry, I assume A1 will be an aerial of some sort to orient the board as to where this property is located?
Yes, A1 is an aerial exhibit prepared by Dynamic Engineering. It has the property outlined in yellow, and then it has a dash line outlining the 200-foot area around the subject property. The property ID is block 4185, lot 911. Address is 1043 Route 9 and Downing Street. The location of the site is located on Route 9 on the northern side of town. It's basically on the border of Sayreville. It's a shopping center that you see basically if you're driving south on Route 9 from the Parkway. It's one of the first shopping centers you see on the northbound side. The shopping center currently has Powerhouse Gym, Kohl's, and then Ollie's Bargain Outlet. As from a zoning perspective, the existing zoning is regional commercial zone. The overall size of the parcel is approximately 31 acres, which is existing nonconformity in the zone. Its principal frontage is on Route 9 as well as Downing Street. And then it has a number of internal private roads within the existing shopping center. The part of the parcel that we're going to be focusing on is the area in red on this exhibit on A1. It's an out parcel located along Route 9. There was a TGI Fridays there that's now vacant, and we're looking to repurpose that into a new upgraded commercial use as part of the proposed development. As far as adjacent uses, to the north of the property is the existing BJ's. To the south are residential uses as well as the commuter parking area. To the west are commercial uses as well as residential uses beyond. And then to the east are residential uses, but that's the area that we're concerned with is up by Route 9. Behind the existing shopping center, there's an existing residential use. One thing to note, there is another Dunkin' Donuts on the other side of Route 9. That is also operated by our client. And we're looking to put one on the northbound side.
And we're here tonight at the zoning board rather than, well, first of all, the proposed use is fully conforming in terms of a use, correct?
Yes,
And we're here tonight because there's a gym in the shopping center proper that is a non-conforming use, and that triggers the D variance relief, correct?
that's correct.
Also, there was some comments in the board professionals report about the retail space that's proposed. We don't have a user for that space, correct?
Right, so if we can shift over to A3, I believe, which is the site plan, or no, A4. It's a site plan rendering, and A4 is just a colorized site plan rendering prepared by Dynamic Engineering, dated today. And this basically shows the existing building, and we're gonna be splitting it up into a few different uses. There is an existing office, there's a new office we're introducing to the existing building. That office is gonna be primarily used by the Dunkin' franchisee as their offices. And then there's a retail user on the end, on the west, on the east side of the building, that we don't have, we don't know who the tenant is. We're anticipating it just be one of the permitted uses that's allowed within the zone.
So there'll be no D variance relief associated with either of those two uses?
That's correct.
Okay. Sorry, I just wanted to make sure the jurisdiction was clear and the variances were clear.
Correct. As far as existing access, we're not really modifying any of the existing access. The main access is off Milletta Way. I might be saying that wrong, I apologize. And that provides access off of Route 9, off of Downing Street. And on the southerly side of the site, of the overall shopping center, there's Westminster Boulevard, which is on the south side of the parcel. The lease area for the applicant is in the parcel located closest to Route 9, and that's the area we're going to be focusing on tonight. From an existing parking perspective, there is an existing parking variance, which we're actually going to be improving as part of this application. When you take the TGI Fridays and you consider all the number of seats within the TGI Fridays, and then compare it versus the proposed use, the actual parking demand goes down. But since it's an existing parking variance, we have to be requesting that as well tonight. So, just going through the proposed uses, there's a restaurant with a drive-through, which is tenant 1. This is a combined space for a Dunkin' Donuts as well as a Jimmy John's. For those that aren't familiar with a Jimmy John's is sort of like a Jersey Mike's type operation. It's just for like sandwiches and things of that nature. The drive-through use is going to be solely dedicated just to the Dunkin' Donuts. The Jimmy John's is more of like you go inside and grab a sandwich versus the Dunkin' Donuts that will be operating the drive-through component of this application. We designed this so that it has a pretty significant amount of stacking. We've got 2 menu boards, which helps processing times faster from the Dunkin' perspective. And then we have typical Dunkin' Donuts. I didn't mention at the beginning of my testimony, I've designed probably around like 30 to 50 Dunkin' Donuts, so I'm very familiar with their operations all over the state. But typical Dunkin' Donuts is usually between like 9 and 11 car stack. I know you probably saw during COVID, there was all kinds of issues with stacking. And in this case, you're not going to have that. We have a very significant stack. We have 16 car stack, which is even more than a typical Starbucks. I also do a lot of Starbucks. Starbucks have usually around a 12 car stack. So this is 4 more than a Starbucks. So this is a very long stack for a QSR or a quick serve restaurant. The second tenant is the office space. As I mentioned, that will be primarily used as the offices for the applicant. And the third space is the retail. As far as improvements, the existing building is basically staying the same. There is a small building addition on the west side of the building. Let's see if I can find my clicker here.
You happen to have a pointer with you?
I do, yes.
Maybe it'd be helpful if you walked around where the splits are going to be. How is it going to be split? Show the way that the cars are going to come in?
Sure.
Thanks.
So for the drive, if you're coming off Route 9, you'd be coming down, going around, getting the drive-through lane. You'd be lining up on the north side of the building. There's 2 drive-through lanes that are. I don't know. Is that the one you want me to point at, or is that good?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's 2 lanes basically, and then there's a full bypass lane, which I think is one of your ordinance requirements for drive-throughs. So we have stacking all the way down to roughly about here, which is the edge of the loading zone. The 2 cars can stack, and then they have 2 different menu boards The menu boards then merge into a single stack, and then there's two windows on the east side of the building. So it allows for a really long stack and really no stacking out on the road or anything like that. So this is where the Dunkin' Donuts is going to be, the Dunkin' Donuts / Jimmy John's. They're both owned by Inspire Brands, which is a kind of a restaurant business, and our client is a franchisee of that. So they're able to combine both of these uses within one building. Then this is where the office is going. The office is going to the centerpiece, and then the retail is going on the easterly side. There's also an external cooler, which we're hoping to maintain as part of this application. It's already there, so what Dunkin's looking to do is just have additional freezer storage, that already exists. If it's not able to be reused, once they get their MEP in there, they might want to remove it, but they want to have that additional freezer storage, which is on the south side of the building, and maintain it and clean it up. As I mentioned, there's mostly existing building, but there are two small little building additions to allow for two different menu boards, two different drive-through windows. So we're adding approximately 225 square feet. As part of the improvements, we're going to be sealing, I believe it was a suggestion of your engineer to seal and kind of mill and repave the areas we're going to be grading, as well as proposing new pavement where we're proposing new pavement. So when you pull into the center, the overall parking area looks like brand new. It looks black. It's not like you have like a black area and then a gray area. It looks very consistent. So as part of the improvements, we're going to be reducing actually approximately 800 square feet. Overall motor vehicle coverage also reduced approximately 2,800 square feet. Aesthetically, it's going to be a major improvement from what's out there today. Obviously, the building is in a bit of disrepair. As was mentioned earlier, the uses that we're proposing are fully permitted. And the only reason we're here in front of you today is because of the gym use, which is a non-conforming use, which is part of the bigger part of the center. From a bulk variance perspective, there's a number of existing variances that we're just going to be requesting that's mostly related to the existing overall shopping center. I just want to highlight one or two areas which we don't comply. One is the front yard setback. So the front yard setback is essentially remaining the same. The only thing is we're adding little canopies over each of the drive-through windows. So we are asking for a front yard setback because we're a few feet closer to the front yard. We're not pushing the building any closer. We're basically maintaining the existing setback, but then adding a menu or a canopy over the windows. The site is relatively irregularly shaped overall, although our pad site is I guess it's kind of like an L shape. There's also two other variances that are required primarily regarding, there's a buffer requirement in your ordinance to Route 9. It's an existing condition, it's mostly grass. I believe one of the comments, either from the board's planner or the board's engineer, was to add just a row of shrubs along the front of the parking area, and we're agreeable to do that to make sure the headlights don't shine towards Route 9. But one of the big things for this type of use in shopping centers in general is just basically having visibility of the signage that's along the front. So one of the things we are asking for is a relief from the minimum landscape buffer as well as the tree requirement along that buffer area. From a parking perspective, I mentioned we are improving the parking variance under existing conditions. There's 108 spaces required for the pad, and under the proposed situation, we're required to have 123 spaces, and we have 70 spaces in the pad. Overall, the parking requirement is 1,351, and then we're proposing 1,118 spaces for the overall center. It's a reduction in 38 spaces from the original requirement for the TGI Friday. So we're requesting the variance, but it's a reduction in the requirement, so it's a better condition than what existed prior. We are requesting a few waivers associated with the parking stall size. We're proposing 9 by 18. For angled spaces, your ordinance requests 10 by 20.5. Most of our spaces do have an overhang area, which allow for larger vehicles to overhang. So we essentially do provide that 20-foot length because there are overhang areas. There's also a waiver associated with the curb radii, whereas 5-foot radius is the minimum, and we're proposing just slightly below that. From an EV parking perspective, we're not proposing any EVs on site because we're not increasing the number of parking spaces by more than 25 spaces on site. So there's no requirement as far as the state code for providing EV, so we're not proposing that. Access, there's really no changes proposed. This type of use is, as many of you know, it's more of like a pass-by use. So if you're going to the Parkway, you might stop in here and get a cup of coffee and then go, head on your way. TGI Fridays is more of like a destination type of use where you go there, you want to get food, you want to get dinner. So we do have a traffic engineer here, but, I do have a letter of no interest, which we can provide that basically shows that we are not increasing significantly the number of trips on site. So we have a traffic engineer if you want to hear from them, but this type of use, about 70% of the customers go through the drive-through. It's a pass-by use. You stop in here in the morning, and really the peak is generally between like 7 and 9 a.m., and that's when the peak happens for the Dunkin' Donuts.
And Jim, just to clarify, the letter of no interest is from the state, because you're on the state highways, the
Right.
NJDOT, correct?
Correct.
So I'll send a copy to the board. If this were approved, I'll send it. I have a copy in my hand, though.
And then just finishing out the drive-through operation, there will be clearance bars. So there's clearance bars right before the menu boards. So we do have clearance bars that will, basically make sure that, really tall vehicles don't go through the drive-through. From an operations perspective, similar to the drive-through on the other side of Route 9, we're going to be asking for 24 hours. The professional office and the retail are going to basically comply with general ordinance requirements. They're generally regular office hours, 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 or so. And then the retail will just be compliant with the municipal requirements. As far as the number of employees, we're anticipating roughly about 8 employees for the Dunkin'/Jimmy John's. For the office use, we're expecting between like 4 to 8 employees within there. It's very low. They're not anticipating very many employees. And the retail use would just generally be whatever user it is in there. I don't really have the number of employees, but it would, my guess is it's probably around 5 employees or 2 to 5 employees for a small retail use like that. As far as deliveries, we provided a large loading area which didn't exist under the existing conditions. There's a trash enclosure located just adjacent to the loading area. That's going to be a masonry decorative trash enclosure, a high quality trash enclosure, and then there's going to be a large loading area just below that. And that'll allow for box deliveries. So trucks that can come in, they can come in here, they can pull right into the striped area. The striped area is significantly oversized. It can hold 2 different box trucks at once. And then the box trucks can just come out and pull right out and then get back on Route 9. Jimmy John's is also going to be using box trucks, and then the office retail, maybe you have a UPS delivery or something like that, but generally speaking, they're probably going to have little vans or something like that as far as deliveries. Relatively small vehicles. From a utilities perspective, we're anticipating just maintaining all the existing utilities. Dunkin' Donuts does have an internal grease trap from a sanitary sewer perspective, but there is an existing grease trap on site for the TGI Fridays. So we're going to work with the OBMUA as far as trying to make sure that we comply with the grease requirements. Dunkin' Donuts really just kind of reheats food, so it doesn't have active cooking. So we're anticipating that to be sufficient, and if it's not, we'll have an external grease trap on that from a sanitary sewer perspective. As far as storm, there was a comment, I believe, in the professional your board engineer's review letter as far as TVing the existing pipes, and we're agreeable to do that to make sure the existing stormwater is in good conditions, and we'll do that for the pad site area because that's the area that we're maintaining, basically developing. The lights on site, there are 7 existing area lights. We're proposing to maintain or relocate approximately 4 of them. The freestanding lights, we're going to also be proposing a few freestanding lights overall. There'll be 3 single head, 3 dual head, 2 existing dual head, and 5 existing dual heads with a mounting height of 18 feet. And then there's building mounted lights, which will be around the perimeter of the building. Those will be 9 building mounted lights with a mounting height of 14 and a half. There is a design waiver because based on the mounting height of the fixture, there's a certain separation requirement. But the way we design the lighting in general is just try and make it fit in with the rest of the center, but also to make sure we comply with the DOT lighting requirements because you're not allowed to throw lighting onto Route 9. And lastly, probably the most importantly, we're trying to make sure that we have at least 0.5 foot candle through the parking area to make sure it's safely illuminated. This is not the type of use we want to light up like bright. We want to make sure it fits in well along the Route 9 corridor. From a landscaping perspective, you can see we're proposing quite a bit of landscaping around the perimeter. There's a number of trees proposed over here where there's existing grass area. We're proposing a number of trees along the rear of the building. And then, as we mentioned, we're going to be buffering up based on the board professionals' comments. We'll make sure that we provide a nice shrub buffer along Route 9 to make sure we block all the headlights. Really trying to layer the plants so that there's an effective year-round visual buffer. Overall, we're proposing 38 trees, 112 shrub plantings, and 55 ornamental grasses. Overall, we're proposing approximately 200 different species. One thing to note, that is going to increase with the number of shrubs that we're going to be proposing. So it's going to be a significant buffer along Route 9 once we do the row of shrubs. There was a number of comments as far as replacing the species, I believe, by the board's engineer and the board's planner. We're agreeable to changing all the species as was recommended and making those modifications. And I already went over the various waivers and variances that we need for that buffer area along Route 9. There was one other waiver, I believe, that was just one tree shall be planted at each 40 feet of landscape strip. We just moved the tree area to the back just so like the trees don't block the shopping center signage. From a signage perspective, there's an existing TGI Friday sign in the dark area on the top left-hand corner of, this was A4. It's not really located in the best spot. What we wanted to do is just relocate that sign over to the northwesterly corner, and then it'll have a sign for each one of the tenants within the building. We wanted to locate it closer to where you turn into the building so you can make the decision there rather than seeing it over here and then can be confused, which driveway you pull in. So monument sign, we're just moving, there's two existing monument signs. We're moving one of them over, and then that sign complies with the ordinance requirements. From a building mounted signs, we do have a few variances we are asking for. We are asking for 10 signs on the building. One thing to note, although we are asking for a number of signs, we are significantly reducing the sign area. So right now there's 286 square feet of signage on the building. We're going to be reducing that down to 161. Duncan just has a number of these like kind of smaller little signs that go around the outside of the building. It's very aesthetically pleasing, which you'll see on the architecture exhibit, but they're just little signs that kind of go around the building. And then one other thing to note, we have a sign basically facing the main entry on the back of the retail use, which I believe there's two variances associated with, or one variance associated with it as far as the facial location. Since the Dunkin' Donuts is up at the intersection, the sign is back here. It's basically just facing Route 9 so that if you come in, you're looking at where you have to go, you can make the turn and know where you're going. So there is, as far as facial location, there's a variance associated with that. Then there's obviously a menu board, a preview board associated with the Dunkin' Donuts. And then as far as outside agency approval, obviously we need the board's approval and the granting of the use variance. We also need Middlesex County, which we already did obtain. Freehold SCD, which we did obtain. We have a letter of no interest from the DOT. So we have all outside approvals already, other than like the OBU MUA, which we're waiting on a review letter from right now. So if we could just show, do you want me to go through the architecturals as well?
Just briefly, show
Okay.
what it's gonna look like.
So we could just switch to the architecturals just so we could talk over them.
Is it 8?
A9 is probably better. Just kind of probably need A8 for the floor plan. So this is A9. This is a color rendering of the proposed, or the existing building that's going to be refaced, prepared by GK&A. You can see there's not, the building really is more modern. It really helps create a gateway into Old Bridge. The signage is not significantly large. This is kind of the main entry to the building. On the side of the building, this is going to be facing the park and ride. This is the part, this has got the two drive-through windows. This is the part facing Route 9. So we have two signs for the Jimmy John's and the Dunkin'. And then on the other side, we got the Dunkin', the Jimmy John's, and then there's going to be two signs associated with the office as well as the retail user. And then on the back of the sign, back of the building, as I mentioned, there's two signs associated with the Dunkin' and the Jimmy John's, which is facing the entrance to from Route 9. So those are a quick summary of the overall number of signs that we're proposing. I think the building is very modern. It really helps, update an existing outdated building and really kind of helps modernize it and bring it in, and make it look new and really more of a modern design, which I think is a really sleek look.
That's all we have of the engineer, Mr. Chair.
Who are we going to go to first? MacArthur?
You know what? I will start this
Okay.
time only because I just wanted to fill the board in and give a little more background about this area. So this shopping center has struggled over years because it is designed with the planning principles of the 70s. So you have a sea of asphalt, then you have the building setback. In fact, it was in like 7 years ago that I started working on an area investigation study for this entire area because there were a number of vacancies in the shopping center as well. And if you notice, if you look at the aerials or even if you visit the site, right, there is a lot of empty parking stalls. Most of the times, the parking that is occupied is on the NJ Transit parking lots and then the Old Bridge commuter parking lot. So I started working on a study so that I could pursue a transit village designation for that area. I had meetings with NJDOT for the Transit Village designation combined with NJ Transit, DCA, and everybody was super supportive that we redevelop this site into like a compact, mixed-use, typical transit-oriented development. However, COVID hit, and then the ridership for the bus went down because that bus line has one of the highest riderships comparable to even train NJ Transits operate. So it slowed down, but then it caught momentum again in the last 2 years as the township was preparing the affordable housing, the fourth round affordable housing plan. This area has 2 sites which are owned. One is right adjacent to this property, which is the NJ Transit parking lot. Now, NJ Transit is selling both its lots to Economic Development Authority, and they will redevelop this site. And one of the reasons I met with them was they wanted assurance that we are still proceeding with the Transit Village designation. They will be able to get the density they're looking for, because once you're in a designated Transit Village area, then you develop a plan to support mixed use. And when I say mixed use, it also needs some level of density to so that development actually is not auto-dependent. You don't need as much parking. People who stay there generally take the bus to commute to New York City or to travel anywhere they're going for work. And then you have other supporting uses which these residents can enjoy. So I am still on target to work on the Transit Village designation. It's part of our last approved housing plan. There are strict deadlines that I have to meet. So in the next, before the end of the year, you should be seeing, not you, I mean, planning board should be seeing the area investigation study, and then subsequently the council will have to approve the redevelopment plan. All this to say that we have made a lot of efforts to revitalize this shopping center, but because of the way it's designed, it always, because generally when you're on Route 9, if you're at a high speed, you see something and you enter the site and want to shop or dine. But when your uses are far set back behind, visibility becomes an issue. I am hoping that with the redevelopment plan in place, this whole area will revitalize. Now, TGI Fridays had an outdated building. It's right at the entrance, and it's I call it the gateway to Old Bridge. Although we are on northbound side, that is actually our municipal, Ernston Road is our municipal boundary. So any efforts to improve these areas are more than welcomed. Having a modern building always is an attraction. I think there are a lot of improvements that are proposed. The variances that are there, majority of them are existing when it comes to buffers. They are existing, and the applicant is agreeing to add in landscaping. So overall, I'm very supportive of the project. Justin, you can thank me later for giving your part of the planning testimony. But I think it is important the board understands that actually there has been a lot of work. It's not just this site, but a lot of work that has been going on in the background. And you will see it come to fruition in the next 2-3 years.
Thank you, Mr. Went. Now, Mr. McCarthy.
Thank you. I'm just going to go through a letter for some areas where we're looking for testimony. So I'm just going to, the first one I see, this is under the planning comments, but it's also site plan related. So first comment is number 20. Is there any intention to have the customer and employee parking separated by signage or striping, or is it just to use the site as it's proposed?
So we don't like to designate employee parking because if there aren't employees parked there, then people don't park there. You know, the number of employees we talked about isn't very significant for this type of use, so we prefer not to designate them.
Okay. For the solid waste on site, is the intention to use the trash enclosure for all three uses?
Yes.
Okay. Let me get into more. Okay, I'm gonna get into more of the site plan stuff here. So, number 29, it was about the site plan checklist waivers. Really, the only thing we were looking for in particular, it was listed as not applicable for any covenants or deed restrictions, as well as any easements on the property. So just wanted to confirm that there were none for this pad site.
For this pad site, not that we're aware of, we did provide a survey, which we did that shows the title search, so.
Okay.
There might be some associated with the shopping center, but not in the pad site.
Okay. Comment number 44, you did briefly touch on the EV parking. I just wanted to confirm, and based on quick math, you're under 75 spaces, so 388 parking spaces would be sufficient for the pad site?
Yes.
Okay. We were looking for discussion regarding the clearance signage that's going to go through the drive-through. So is the intention to only have maximum height restriction on the bars themselves, or is there going to be additional signage posted?
It's just on the bars.
Okay.
There are no logos on those bars, right?
There are like little Dunkin' Donuts logos, not like signage, but there's like, it's colored like Dunkin'. It's on the detail sheet as far as what's on.
Can you pull up? I just want to make sure if there is a variant situation, we get it approved right now.
Okay. I don't know if I have the site plan in there. All right, let's go to the signage chart. It's probably on that sheet.
Actually, it should be on
Or
our
the signage detail.
website, right?
The signage detail, sorry, I told you the wrong
That would be A5.
one. A5. It's the same as the site plan that were submitted. So the top left-hand corner is the clearance bar. So it just has like a little car on there.
Why don't you have the pointer, why don't you?
Oh, sorry.
I think you should get
So
a
it has
variant.
drive-through on top, it's got
It's
little
the Dunkin'
arrows,
sign.
and then there's a little Dunkin' car, which on other towns I've run into, sometimes they consider that signage, sometimes they
Yeah.
don't, and then there's,
I mean, I would say just get a variance approved on that one,
okay.
just to be on the safer side.
So, yeah, so we'll be requesting whatever relief associated with the A5 exhibit of the drive-through bar signage and/or lettering.
Because the text actually doesn't trigger any issues, but it's the logo that.
Yeah, it's just the car. Yeah, because it says drive-through, then it has a clearance below it. I don't think any of the text or the coloring is. I think just primarily that's just that car
Yes,
area.
just the logo.
Okay. Under the stormwater management comment, so that's number 52 on page 10. We were looking for testimony regarding, we noted that it's not a major stormwater project, but just wanted to confirm, making sure that there was no more than 1 acre of disturbance on the site since February 2nd of 2004.
So we're not aware of it. As from a pad site perspective, we're not over that. So
Okay.
as far as we're aware, I'm not unaware of that.
Okay, yeah, just wanted to get it on the record.
Yep.
And then comment D, do you know if there's any existing operations and maintenance manual recorded with the deed for the property or for the entire site?
I am not, but we can ask the owner and see if there is.
Okay, yeah, I would just think it would probably be suggested to make it a condition for the property, just to make sure that any existing drainage on site, the basin, any of the piping, is just, all we're asking for is that it gets maintained. And typically properties and projects that were done before 2004, it was never required to be deed restricted, so just because it was installed, chances are it's not getting maintained anymore, so just making sure that we put it in the deed, so that way anybody who owns the property will always be required to maintain it.
The only, we could certainly try, but we don't own the property, so we'd have to go to our landlord and see if we can get cooperation.
Yeah, I think because this is such a small property, I think it would be, I mean, it's up to you guys, but I would be comfortable with at least asking the landlord if they're willing. I know it's hard because it's not like a big anchor tenant, so we could make it a condition that they attempt to get a deed restriction. That would be my recommendation.
We would be glad to make that, and we'll document whatever efforts we make.
You agree with that then, Mr.
Yes,
Alfieri, right?
yes.
Thank you.
Okay. And then comment number 56, in the top left corner of the pad site, it looks like there's an outdoor seating area. I don't believe there was any site lighting proposed for that area, so just wanted to confirm if any is going to be proposed or what the intention would be for that.
Yeah, it would just be illuminated by the building sign, or the building mounted lights. So that's really the illumination that we would be proposing for that.
Okay. That's everything I have. Thank you.
Mr. Desi?
We can.
So something for you to consider, maybe in that outdoor dining area, you have some sort of wall-mounted motion sensor sign or something, because I don't want it to become like a hangout space till the entire area is revitalized. I don't want that to be a pocket with dark spots where kids or people go and hang out, because we get a lot of complaints of that area. I like literally every month there is somebody complaining that, you know, when is this area going to improve because of some of the nefarious activities that go on.
So, yeah, we'll
In the
work with
shop.
your office or the engineer's office for that kind of lighting, no problem.
Yeah.
Just starting off, for some of the comments we discussed with the township engineer, so we are removing comment number 40, comment number 46, and comment 57B from our letter. But then continuing onward, under the site plan section, comment number 33, could you please provide testimony regarding queuing backups? It appears that there might be a queuing issue if you get beyond 7 cars entering the drive-through queue.
Sure, we do have our traffic engineer, and he could go into it in depth. In my experience, as I mentioned, I've done somewhere between 25 and 50 Dunkin' Donuts in that ballpark. This is one of the longest queues I've ever proposed for Dunkin' Donuts. Typically, their stack is roughly between 9 and 11 cars or so. So really, it's because there's an existing building here where we're able to provide more stack. So we can stack significantly all the way up to basically the end of the loading zone without really interfering with any sort of circulation. So I'm not concerned at all on the stacking for the drive-through.
Would you, should the board act favorably, would you be opposed to providing a queuing analysis?
We can provide documented queuing from other sites that we have studied and showing that it doesn't exceed like 16 cars.
Okay. Comment number 37, pedestrian circulation should be depicted on the plan. since it is now turning into a drive-through.
Yeah, one thing we can do here, and I believe we might have spoken before the meeting, we can add a crosswalk and then provide some sort of pedestrian area from the commuter lot in case there's people want to walk over after they've parked. So we can provide a crosswalk across the drive aisle, and then it will require some additional impervious just to provide a sidewalk that goes to the front of the building. But I think the benefit of adding that allows, for pedestrians to cross over, safely make transition through the parking area from the commuter lot.
To add on to that, would you be opposed, if the board acts favorably, to continue the pedestrian access to the intersection where there's a ADA curb ramp on Downing Street?
This area right here is really too narrow for the sidewalk. I mean, if you wanted a crosswalk across, I mean, this kind of leads, we could do a crosswalk here and then sidewalk out to the corner and connect to this ramp that's right here. If the board wants, I don't think we have any issue with it. It's just a little bit more of a sidewalk.
Moving on. I believe 57, you discussed that you talked to NJDOT, so you have the letter of no intent. And then I just wanted to put on record that there will be approximately an additional 120 trips on Saturdays, which NJDOT is considered a significant amount to the site.
That's not my.
We have to bring our traffic in.
We have a letter from NJDOT saying less than 100 trips.
Okay.
So I believe we're not a significant impact.
That's all from me.
Mrs. One, you're good, right? For now?
No.
Good? Yep. I'll go to the board members on my left, starting at the Ms. Fernbach.
So the Dunkin' Donuts, there's only going to be one way out, one way in, one way out, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, 2 ways in, 1 way out.
2 ways?
Because
You can come in the other entrance.
yeah, so there's a 1-way entrance on the northeasterly corner, and then there's a 2-way entrance on the southeasterly corner. So it's like 1.5 driveways.
We would go in and go around?
Yeah, so if you were coming in, you could come in here, go in this way. Or if you wanted to come in, you could come down here, come in here, and then go down that way.
And they're going to exit out, they're exiting out on that back street.
Right, so they'd circle around the building, come over here, get their food, come around the front, and then exit out. And then they could either go this way or they could go that way to get.
And how many parking spaces are close to that building for the retail area that wouldn't have to walk across the path of cars,
They wouldn't have to walk across.
the path of those cars exiting?
11. There's 11 spaces, and then there's 14 on the opposite side that would have to cross over.
Thank you.
Ms. Gomez?
How many handicap accessible spots do you have?
We're showing 3 right now on the pad site. The overall center, we didn't calculate, but there's a number. And that's compliant, the pad site's compliant with ADA.
Anything else, Ms. Gomez?
No, I'm sorry,
Oh, well.
I apologize.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yeah, I just wanted to get a little bit of clarification. On page 3 of the environmental resolutions memo, number C, It's talking about the variance relief in event that the final nature of the retail use, the proposed retail use.
Yeah, we stipulated that we won't require variance relief. It will be a conforming use.
Okay, that was my question, because I'm just uncomfortable
Not understood.
giving a
Blank
vote on
check-
something is
a blank
unknown.
check, right.
Okay, and then you also stated that the primary office space use will be Dunkin' Donuts and Jimmy John's. What, I mean, that primary means most of it? What's the other part of it going to be?
It's
all going to be for them?
Dunkin' Donuts, the owner of the business, the
Okay.
Dunkin' Donuts business.
And then lastly, I guess it's just the way it ended up working out, that obviously it was where the kitchen was in Fridays, the freezers are on the opposite side of really where the Dunkin' Donuts would have been better. Are they accessing those walk-ins from the outside? Because I think those, correct me if I'm wrong, are like built in to the building. They're not just,
If we're going to use them, and they're going to make a determination, we're either
Right.
going to put an internal hallway in the building to get access to them, so it's not connected to the
so
retail.
it won't be, okay, that was my
Right,
question.
right.
It wasn't going to be connected in any way
Right.
to the retail. Okay, that was it. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you go in Dunkin' Donuts and purchase items?
Yes,
Yes,
And what about the other store? Can you go in there also?
yes.
the only could go, when you say the other store, you mean the Jimmy John's?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's only service within the building. There's no drive-through for Jimmy
Yeah.
John's.
I'm sorry. I know you gave us numbers for the southbound Dunkin' Donuts, you figured, but this is northbound, this is commuter route. So I think the numbers will be much higher.
Like I mentioned, like I said, like, so the number of, we studied all the, so just so you know, the Dunkin' Donuts that I've worked on, they're like the worst case scenario. So the Dunkin' Donuts I've worked on, there's 2 on Old Bridge on the Parkway that are on the kind of pull-off areas. Those 2 are designed for 9 cars, okay? So they're directly on the Parkway. I've worked on 1 in Hazlitt, right on 35. I've got 1 on Freehold on Craig Road, just further south of here by the kind of the Manalapan Freehold border. That has roughly about 9 cars. This has almost double that. So this is designed to be way more than your standard. So,
Yeah. And it's the exit on Downing, then you have to make that right onto Route 9 and merge into the traffic.
Yeah. So there's,
Or you can go back on Milelta Way and take that exit over there. But again, you're getting merging into Route 9.
yeah, and the one other thing to point out, something that's kind of developed from COVID is a lot of people just kind of order on their mobile app. So like I do it. I don't want to wait in the drive-through queue, so I order it before I get to Dunkin' Donuts. We have 2 spots designated for the Jimmy John's and Dunkin' Donuts. You walk in, you get it, and I get it in like 30 seconds rather than having to wait through a 2-minute drive-through queue. So there's that aspect as well.
So Jimmy John's and Dunkin' Donuts, you can go inside.
You can go inside, and there's there's 2 spaces designated to mobile pickup as well.
So the parking, one would have to park to the right, then go into Dunkin' Donuts,
Right.
park to the front?
Yep, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Mr. Rizzo.
So when you open up, it's going to be Dunkin' Donuts. You might not necessarily have any use for the office and the retail at that particular moment.
Well, the office, the owner is going to use it. That's
Oh,
where
he's using that?
yes.
All right, so then
Yes.
the retail aspect,
We don't know.
but no matter what, Dunkin's open.
Correct, yeah. And the retail, as we mentioned, is going to be a permitted use, so it's going to be something that complies with your ordinance requirement.
All right, well, I'm good.
Ms. Andrews?
Yeah, I'm concerned with the retail space because there are so many things that come under retail. I would be concerned with having a vaping shop, which seem to be very popular. I seem to see them all over. Also, something with adult type of entertainment, of anything like that. That comes under retail. I know that for
No,
a
but
fact.
Your ordinance
I
says-
would be concerned with something like that. When you have any idea of retail, what are you considering? A bake shop?
A bake shop, a nail salon, something along those lines. I mean, Vina, correct me, are those uses permitted in the zone?
Yeah, retail sale and services are permitted. Personal services are permitted. So I missed the first part. What, York?
Vaping shops seem to be, I seem to see them all over.
I mean, vaping.
No, vaping, those,
We have no issue with no vaping, no adult
no, yeah.
entertainment stuff. There's no intent, they don't want to ruin their
Yes.
business with those kind of
I
uses.
would let Danny answer, but
No,
that.
I found out, unfortunately, adult shops come under retail.
Yeah, we won't do that here. We have no issue with the condition.
Yes, things that would,
To answer the question about the vapes shops, they do meet the definition of retail sales and
Retail,
service.
exactly.
So it would be a permitted use in this zone.
it would be.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's why I'm concerned. You know why. I'm concerned about that.
So, yeah, so if the board were to approve the application, they can impose a condition against that and adult, whatever you call it, adult entertainment or products, we have no issue with either of those being prohibited.
Thank you.
And a reference to the D1 for the, we're going to get to that, we're going to
The
talk about.
planner will come up for that only,
Okay.
yes.
And as far as the last retail, we don't know yet, but it's going to comply with whatever. It's not going to be open-ended. Originally, the application indicated that it would be whatever. but
We agree, but then-
It has to be within the
Permitted uses only.
Chairman, if you may, once you're done, I have a question before you.
Oh, when I'm done? Okay. What's the reason for moving the, that's not a monument, that's a pier, is it not?
Right now, it's an existing monument. We're proposing a nice-looking decorative monument.
The problem is you're very close to the corner now.
That's where we want it. I mean, that's where you want to be. You want to be, visible so that we're coming
I
down.
understand that, but obviously you can't interfere with the site triangle to be able to come out.
Right.
What's wrong with where it is? It's kind
It's
of,
just, it's too far away from where you come in.
well, there's only one turn you can make.
No, I understand that. And also, it's just from a visibility perspective, it's just not great. So what we met with the client, we went out there, we looked at what has the best visibility so you can make a safe turning maneuver. And this is compliant with the setbacks. It's not in the site triangle. It's not that, and the sign itself is compliant from a square footage perspective. So it's compliant with the ordinance. It's just we're moving it just for better visibility and a better location.
The south side of the building is where the patio used to be, right?
Yes.
And presently, it's still there.
Yeah.
That's going to be the entranceway, correct? If I wanted to go inside
Yes.
to any of them?
To any of them, yes.
For the office as well and for the new, they'll all be there. So you're going to designate, if you're going to designate handicap spots, you're going to have to do it in an area the closest as possible, right?
Yeah, so we have two spots located in front of the Dunkin'.
Right.
With a van accessible, and then we have another space. We kind of broke them up so that if you wanted to go in this use, we have another space on the,
Good, that's good, that makes sense.
yeah.
Okay, so that'll be moved. And what was my other one? One of the problems I have with all of these, and he owns the one across the street, you said, the gentleman seated there in
Yes.
the audience, is the backup on the highway in the morning. Because every dump truck stops, because they can't pull in, so they back up, and then they're gonna back up right on that slip ramp that goes to make the turn onto Downing. I know there's not a way that you can possibly prevent that, because they do it in front of his place going southbound. They do it at Wawa, which is further north of you in Sayreville. It creates quite a problem. And I don't know how we can prevent that. But because it's an attraction, these are destination stops, and these drivers know where they're at. They're gonna back up, they're gonna park there, and they're gonna back up and walk in to get their food and/or their coffee. They do it already now on his side. And sometimes his queue backs out onto Route 9.
That's not gonna happen here. We're not gonna be in that situation. Like I mentioned, the queue here is very significant. Also, just, let's say if a landscape truck or something like that coming in here, I mean, there's a big loading area, so there's an area for that you can kind of pull
That's
over.
not the guys who are using it. It's the dumps and the tractor trailers that are pulling up,
Mr. Chairman,
they're getting their coffee. Yes?
we had a note in here regarding potentially restricting truck movements by putting some signage, the typical, no trucks except for local deliveries to this site. Would that be, would you be opposed to doing something like that?
Well, it doesn't solve the problem out on Route 9. It only solves the problem coming into the parking lot. I have no problem with them getting deliveries. The prior owner, I mean, the prior usage got all their deliveries there. Their liquor, their food, any accessories. It's stopping out on Route 9 when trucks are not supposed to be stopped. There is no stopping. It's a slip lane. It's a deceleration lane that goes into the turn.
I don't know if there's really much we can, it's because it's happening within the DOT right away. I don't know if there's
Yeah,
much
I
we
know.
can do. It's more of an
And
enforcement
it happens in
Yeah.
front of his other store right across
It's
the
more of
street.
an enforcement issue.
Yeah,
than-
I think so. It's more because I know we have issues even with the Wawa on 9 and 18, everywhere that's an issue. But I think it's something that has to be enforced rather than, because I have been to the Dunkin' on the other side and I notice that every morning that there are trucks parked, but there's nothing we
I
can do
don't know
unless the
that you
police.
can touch signs there or put signs there, but you could probably ask the DOT to do so. Because there probably is no warnings there right now for no stopping or standing.
We could, I just looked at the traffic engineer, he said we can make that request. I don't know.
Yeah,
if
I know
they'll
you
agree.
can't control that, but if there's some way we could mitigate that from happening, it would be helpful.
Okay.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mr. Alfieri.
I just have one quick last thing, just
And
to
Mr.
go
One, you
back.
wanted something?
Oh, yeah, Davina, do you want to go first?
No, it's okay.
Okay, just really quickly, just wanted to, I hate to harp on it, but regarding the sidewalk along the frontage there, along Melita Way, Vina was discussing that this is going to be a transit village, and that's the intention, and with all the legwork getting there. It looks like there's between 4 and 4.5 feet at the smallest section there. I do understand that a tree would have to get removed. There may be a way to squeeze around the light post, but I would just like to see it because then off-site, there is sidewalk that goes towards the BJ's. And if this is going to be a transit village and people are going to generally be taking busing, we would like to see that there's some kind of pedestrian interconnectivity on the site.
Yeah, I'm sure we can work with your office as long as we can be flexible. Like if we have to move that light pole into the parking lot, into the parking area. If we're trying to make it all ADA compliant, we might have to remove a number of those trees and things like that. So if you're flexible as far as a tree removal and a lighting perspective, and we can make sure that all that stuff is out of the way, we don't have a problem doing that.
Okay, thank you.
So, Jim, in that same context, right, I'm just looking at the plan, maybe extending that sidewalk to the landscape island and then having a crosswalk so that, because once the NJ Transit site is developed with mixed use and, you know, the whole area is developed, there will be a lot of pedestrian traffic that will be also going in to pick up their coffee in the morning. So I think the site, when you come back to us for compliance, we should look at having some sort of crosswalks and
Yeah, I think
extension.
that's what I think I was getting at. Maybe I didn't describe it very well. So based on our most recent discussions, we'll put crosswalk, we'll put this entire island basically is gonna be concrete.
Yep,
There's gonna be another crosswalk across, and then that'll connect into this ramp over here.
okay.
And then in addition to that, there'll be a crosswalk
Yes.
across this one. We'll have sidewalk that runs
Correct.
to the north and then connects into the
Perfect.
pad site.
Perfect. I think that will be really helpful. Can I? Okay. The one question I had was the walk-in freezer.
Yes.
So what is it for? Because you still don't know what retail use is going. Is it?
No, it's gonna be associated with the Dunkin'. It's just gonna be like, extra storage for like if they have, a larger delivery, or if they need some additional supplies. Obviously, there's another Dunkin' across the street, so they wanna make sure, since there's already a walk-in freezer there and they're expensive, they wanna be able to still use that one if it's in good working order. Obviously, they have to have someone go in there and make sure it's in good condition. If it's not in working order, they have no problem removing it, but they want to use it if it is in good working order.
So the freezer would have access from outside,
No,
not from.
we would install like a hallway to connect it.
Interior.
Yeah, so
Interior, yeah.
So you'd enter in over here, there'd be a little hallway that goes up to this point,
Okay.
and then there's already a hallway going this way, and if you look at the floor plans.
Okay.
So it would just be extending the hallway a little bit here, so that the Dunkin' could then access it through the back.
Okay, and while you're on, I just wanted you to answer. I mean, I can wait for Justin, but since you are in the flow of it, I'll just ask you. There was a comment 23 in the review letter, which said that typically drive-throughs are permitted as a conditional use, and there are conditions laid out. I believe you meet all the conditions except for one. And would you agree with me that these conditions are actually tailor-made for standalone drive-through facilities? But this being different, this is a pad site, so the drive-through window being on the front really doesn't apply in this situation.
I agree, yes.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Want. Mr. Alfieri, I've given you now 58 minutes. I know you have another witness. If the other councils want to lend you time, that's up to them, but otherwise, I'm going to have to, in
Yeah,
fairness.
It's up to them. Our planner's going to take, since since Vina and Mr. Henry have pretty much covered the variance, it's just really to dot the I to say, here's why we're entitled to a use variance, which is because it has nothing to do with our site. It's up to you, Mr. Chair, or them. We only need 2 minutes, is what I'm saying.
You turn around, if you get a nod from one of them to say yes, then.
I don't know who they are.
Mr. Granada and Mr. Shurchia. Okay. You're Mr. Churchia, correct? Yes. And you're going to be next. So you'll lend him a 5? Thank you. Appreciate that, sir.
Thank you.
Justin,
Mr. Alfieri?
You only have 2 minutes, Justin. And then 3 minutes for questions.
All right, well, raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and spell your last for the record.
Justin Auciello, Auciello.
Over to you, Counselor.
Mr. Alciello, please place your planning credentials on the record, please.
And he has testified before us. Please place your credentials on the record, and I'll recognize them.
Yes, Mr. Chair, thank you. So I have a master's degree in planning from Rutgers University. I've been a licensed planner in the state of New Jersey since 2008.
And that is, license is current?
It's current.
And you have recently testified?
I've appeared at this board on many occasions in the past.
Continue, Mr. Alfieri.
Justin, the engineer discussed the C variance relief, so I just want you to focus on the D1 that we are requesting, please.
So as was stated earlier, the D1 variance is not related to the application that's in front of us, or the Duncan a pad site that's here this evening. It's related to the gym use. Gym use is a longstanding use. It's been on the site. Obviously, the site, suffers from a lot of challenges in terms of, as Vina had stated, it's a very outdated site. That gym, from a planning standpoint, I think it's particularly suited because it is adding some life to the site itself. It's a gym use. There's plenty of parking for it. It's also a helpful use for the site as well because it provides customers. People go to the gym, and I think this is going to be a great use, a great synergistic use. If you can get your coffee or your sandwich afterwards. I don't know if a sandwich is the best thing to eat after the gym, but be it as it may, it's a good synergistic use. In terms of the special reasons that are advanced with the gym, I think it's very clear it's a benefit to the general welfare under Purpose A for the reasons I had stated, and Purpose G, there is more than sufficient space on the site to accommodate the gym and the Duncan use that's here this evening as well. I don't see any negative impact to the zone plan or the zoning ordinance. The CR zone, even though it does not permit a gym, the gym, it's a commercial use, and it does have synergy on the site as well. So I don't see any negative impact to the zone plan and the zoning ordinance, and certainly I don't see any substantial detriment to the public good if the board should choose to grant this relief. In terms of the master plan of the township, this is exactly the type of use or improvements that your master plan speaks to encourage economic vitality and to encourage the reuse and activation of shopping centers, especially on Route 9. And even though the use variance is not related to what's on the screen this evening, certainly testimony from Jim has shown that, there's substantial landscaping, modern building, and it's something that I believe the township, can be proud of right up on Route 9. So for all those reasons, I think the benefits of granting that relief certainly outweigh any detriments to the same.
That's all we have.
Mr. Want,
I have no questions for Justin.
any of the other professionals?
No,
I'll
thank you.
start on my left, going down. This is in reference, if we don't know, it's the Powerhouse Gym. If you were in the Coles area and you went to the very end, that's where it sits.
I have to say, I'm a little bit confused.
Okay, it's not on this page.
I know where it is.
Yeah,
I
okay.
know where it is.
All right.
We're on two sides of this area. I thought we were talking about the old Fridays.
We are.
We are.
period.
So the problem is,
why are we
it's all on
including the
one
gym?
property, it's all
It's
on
one
one
property.
property. So even though it's nowhere near this
It's all part of that.
corner, it's all one parcel.
Okay, now you were talking about walking back and forth. I don't think that's safe.
No. So, so I was saying, there's a natural synergy here with the gym and the uses that we're talking about this evening. I mean, certainly no one's going to be walking, but if you go to the gym and then afterwards you want to get a cup of coffee, there's that linkage, which you would then drive,
drive.
to the shopping center.
Okay, and we're going to have a traffic study on that little bitty road?
No, we're not going to have a traffic study, no, we.
Because you've got Aldi's, and that there's I shop at Aldi's often. And for me to come out of there, sometimes to take a left is very difficult. That's a busier intersection at Downing Street than you would think. I just wanted to throw that out there.
I understand. Nothing's going to change, though. Whatever's there now, it's not a new structure. It's the same structure, and I guess it's the same people who are using the gym.
But you're going to have a few different businesses in there. You're going to have a Dunkin' Donuts. It probably is going to get a lot of traffic. a
So let me
Jimmy
just
John's,
Bring
and
it back to why this use variance is unique. If that gym didn't exist, they would not be here before this board. And they would only be here for the bulk variances. But because that gym exists, it essentially ties their hands to require them to have the use variance. So this use isn't impacting the use variance that they're before the board requesting relief for, because it's a Dunkin' Donuts that is a permitted use in the zone. The retail use is a permitted use. The office use is a permitted use. It's just this quirky thing in the law that because on this gigantic piece of property, on the entire opposite side of the property, there's this non-conforming use that they're trying to legitimize in order to proceed, because they can't add this use to the property based off this, and that's why they're here. So if this was a traditional and this Dunkin' needed a use variance, yes, all your concerns, we'd be kicking them down the curb and making them prove. But this Dunkin' Donut is a permitted use. So just really, and focusing on the impact, look at the bulk variances that they're requesting, the frontage, the buffering. But in terms of the use, that's an existing use that's not going to change. So.
thank you.
Ms. Gomez?
I only have a question about the variance. I'm sorry. The variance, and as Ms. Andrews said before, about the retail part of it. If there's something else going to be put there, would they have to come back before the board to apply for another variance?
So they have testified that only uses that are permitted in the zone is what that retail space would occupy. If it was a use that is not permitted, then they would have to return back to the board.
Okay, thank you, that's my answer.
Ms. Spinelli?
I'm good, thank you.
Nothing at all.
Rizzo? Sanders?
No, not with regard to the gym, although I was wondering why it took so long to come and ask for a variance. That was,
That gym's been there, we're
'Cause I know
told,
for-
for 10 years or
Yeah,
more.
no,
We have
I've
no
read-
idea.
yeah, I just thought it was very odd.
I think, because it's all part of that one.
Now I
one
get
center,
it.
They want to do everything and clear it up. I have no questions, and I know it's been there for a long time. I don't think it affects one way or another the property. It's a struggling mall. It really has been for years. I mean, I have no idea how Kohl's stays open. And I know the little pizza place, that man has been there, that family's been there for years. And believe it or not, they get an attraction, but I know it's a struggling area. And I certainly have it's been operating, nothing's going to change in the gym. I thank you, Mr. Cielo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
That concludes our presentation.
Okay, I do have to go to a quick public portion, okay? This is matter 46-2025Z, Bentley Realty Group. This is commonly called the Old Fridays, and they're going to rehabilitate that building for different use. Anyone want to be heard on this matter? Please raise your hand or stand. This is likely to be the last time you'll have an opportunity to do so, so I would urge you, if you want to make a comment, please do so now. Counselor, I see no one. I'm going to close the public portion.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman.
Public portion is closed. Mr. Alfieri.
I'll waive any closing argument. We're already over time. I'd request the board grant the approvals with all the conditions that we've stipulated.
Yeah, I'll quickly, if there's anything that we want to clear up before we do this, I'll go right down the aisle here. Please, if you have something, let's do it now. Ms. Andrews, any comments?
Just those two exceptions,
Okay.
the retail.
Yeah, and I think we've been guaranteed that that's going to coincide with what is allowable.
Correct.
We don't want it an attraction. Certainly, you mentioned vapes, and I think you said the owner certainly wouldn't want that in the area, or adult actions that would be counterproductive to the good
Correct.
order in there. And we appreciate that. And I'm glad to see that finally that building is being rehabbed. There's nothing like using property that's already there and bringing it back to life. So I don't have any problem with it. I'm assuming we can go full speed ahead here, and
Yes, Mr.
if
Chairman.
you are going to ask for a vote, correct?
Please.
Okay. We're seeking major preliminary and final site plan with deed variance, and this would include the bulks as well, correct?
Correct. It would include the bulks and the design waivers.
In the design waiver. Someone want to move this, please?
Izzo.
Is there a second?
Second.
This is for approval. Roll call, please.
Ms. Andrews?
Yes.
Ms. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo?
Yes.
Mr. Scogno?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes.
Ms. Fernbach?
Yes.
Chairman Sullivan?
I think you've put all the proofs on that you needed to put on, and again, I'm glad to see that this is being rehabilitated and it's being used. My vote is yes.
Thank you, and thanks for giving us the extra time. We
can
appreciate it.
thank counsel on the way out.
I will on the way out, I will. Thank you all.
Good night, Mr. Alfieri. Thank you and your witnesses for the presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. I don't know about that. Let me just check. Is Mr. Granata here in the room?
Is Juan Figueroa here?
That should be them, no?
Is there Mr. Figueroa in the room?
So who is he?
No? Okay. All right, at this point, yeah. It looks like the other applicant is not here. They'll work to your favor. Those folks are with you, sir? Yes. Okay. So the room is clear, so I'm assuming that that other applicant is not showing.
Mr. Chair, Vina, very quickly before the meeting, I didn't get too much information. I think there was an issue with their application. On the plan, it calls for that it's just a single-family residence, and I believe there's 2 apartments, so that kind of muddies up the water, so they may have to renotice, but Vina's going to work with them.
Okay. No, that is not you, sir. All right, let me call this in 54-2020, you are ready. 54-2025Z, it's Jessica Kraskowski. This is R6 zone, block 5000.25, lot 41. Physical location is 28 Purdue Road. Seeking D4 variance. The applicant proposes a second floor addition. Jason Churchia, Esquire, for the applicant, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you said, Jason Churchia, Cherchia, from Wilentz, Goldman, and Spitzer on behalf of Ms. Kraskowski. So we're here tonight. The applicant is the owner of the single-family residence located at 28 Purdue Road in Parlin. We're here tonight seeking to put an addition on the home. Obviously, this is a single-family residence, which doesn't require site plan approval, but because the home or excuse me, the addition exceeds the maximum FAR ratio, floor area ratio, we do need a D4 variance, so that's why we're here this evening. There are two other pre-existing nonconformities relating to the setbacks. Those were approved by this board in the 90s. That was Resolution 53-98Z, and the date of the resolution is September 17th, 1998. So here we're just seeking the variance for FAR. There were some comments, and I just want to be clear, we're not seeking to add a second unit to the home. It's a second floor. There is a kitchenette. We'll explain why it's not a second unit based on the definitions in your ordinance, as well as the way the architectural works out. So tonight, we're just going to be offering the testimony of Ms. Kriskowski, as well as our professionals, John Brower, who is our architect, and John Tukina, who is our planner. So if I could call Ms. Kriskowski up.
By all means, Counselor.
Thank you.
Counselor, she can remain standing to be sworn.
All right, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Please state your name and spell your last for the record.
Okay. Jessica Kriskowski, Kriskowski.
And you're the owner of the property?
Yes.
Over to you, Counselor.
Thank you. Can you just introduce yourself, tell us who you are?
Jessica Kriskowski, live at 28 Purdue Road.
And when did you purchase the home?
2011.
And why did you purchase the house?
In 2011, I purchased the home. I was looking for a house that was close to my family in Sayreville. My mother grew up in Madison Park, so I knew the area. And I still have two sets of families that live down the street from me currently.
And can you just describe the home that is the existing home? What's there now?
It's a ranch style with 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. There is a full basement, which is pretty much half finished, and the other half is storage and utilities.
And can you why are we looking to add the second floor to the home?
Okay, I wrote this down. So I'm a single mom who's recently divorced, and previously my ex-husband and I decided it was best to keep our son in the current home we were growing up in to maintain as much consistency for him as possible. He's back there. He's in 7th grade at Carl Sandburg. He is on student council, peer leadership. He can apply for Junior Honor Society next year. He's part of the Old Bridge Soccer Club. He plays travel soccer. He volunteers with the Just for Kicks program. So he's built, he's steady, he has his friends in the neighborhood. It's a place we wanted to keep him. However, I am a full-time teacher at South Plainfield High School. I advise 2 clubs. I'm busy, and help is needed. Rides, pickups, just anything, even just dinner, that would be helpful. My parents, around this same time, they're both retired. They're looking to downsize their space. They would prefer a ranch-style house and actually tried to find one in Madison Park, but when they were looking, the ones that were for sale weren't what they needed, and what was available just wasn't working for them. So the idea would be we would all live together, everybody having their own space. My aunt lives around the corner on Columbia. She's partially disabled, so my parents help her regularly for them to get to her. They would help me with my son. It just seems that it would be an easy situation for everybody, which would allow us to be together, but also have our own separate private spaces to continue the consistency I want to try and keep.
And just to be clear, you're not adding a second unit. You're not looking to rent anything out or anything like that? Okay. That's really all the questions I have for Ms. Kriskowski.
You have a separate entrance for them?
No, there's no separate entrance planned.
Oh, will you be using the same entrance to come in, and they'll just be living on one of the floors, whichever? Okay. Who do we have in a professional in here wants to ask anything? Mr. Watt?
I think one of the questions concern I had was that it appears with the second floor addition that you're creating an additional unit, because I see a new kitchenette on the second floor. I see a living space, so I was confused as to why do you have, because your renovating the ground floor kitchen, then why do you need a kitchenette on the second floor?
Okay. Okay. Simply for the ease of my son getting ready in the morning, getting some breakfast, making a cup of coffee, washing a dish, keeping some fruit in a refrigerator. Not meant to be cooking, but just an easier space for us to still maintain.
There's no
I
gonna be,
mean,
there's no,
to be honest, I'm a single parent too. And my son was 7 as well. So for that reason, because to me, there is no way for us to control if you rent out the upstairs, you have a washer dryer upstairs, you have bedrooms, a living space upstairs. It's not like that living space is a bedroom. You call it a living space, you have a kitchenette. So to me, it appears that you're creating a second floor apartment, and there will be no way for us to police that. And the zoning officer is right here. Actually, Danny, I know you reviewed the application with me. So that would be our primary concern.
well, we would certainly be willing to agree to a condition that it would never be able to be rented out separately from the home itself. As far as, there's no cooking facilities up there, so as far as what the town defines a dwelling unit, the dwelling unit is required to have a cooking facility, or at least that's how the town defines it. So there's no cooking upstairs. It's just the fridge and the sink, is that right?
Correct. And it's going to be open to the downstairs, so it's not going to be separate.
So there's no separate doorway or entrance to get in there. When you go in the front door, you could go up the stairs. There's no door second door you would go through to go upstairs, right?
Will you deed restrict it?
I'm sorry?
Will you,
So-
my question was, will you deed restrict it?
So can I maybe propose a middle ground, which would be to provide a deed, like a deed notice or a declaration where we'd record the resolution. My concern with doing a deed restriction is if the zoning were some day to change in the future and it became, and two-family dwellings became allowed, if we had a deed restriction, we'd still have to we couldn't come to this board to lift it. We'd have to go to the Chancery Division to lift it. There's no way around that. So if we could simply record the deed, record the resolution and impose in the resolution a condition that it is not to be rented separately from the home itself, so it's remain a single-family dwelling, I think that would be more amenable. That way, if in the future, if it came to pass that there were two-family dwellings did become allowed, then we would not have to go to the Chancery Division to make it a two-family dwelling, and that would put them on parity with anybody else in the district, the zone now, who would not have that restriction, who, if the zoning were to change in this hypothetical, they would be able to make a two-family residence.
You would include that in the deed notice that's recorded as well. So not only would the resolution be recorded against the property, it would be in the actual deed.
So the deed notice would basically put everybody on notice in the,
I know what it
future
is, I'm
buy.
just trying to be
Yeah.
clear.
So the deed notice itself wouldn't include the restriction. The deed notice would basically say, announce itself as a deed notice, and we're attaching the resolution as Exhibit A, and here's the resolution that attaches, and the resolution will speak for itself.
Subject to complying, got it.
That would not require us to go to the Chancery Division, and would keep everybody on par with everybody else in the neighborhood if in my hypothetical, the zoning were to change.
Danny, I know you want.
Yeah, so the
Mr.
way that
Callahan.
the way that our ordinance defines a dwelling unit is a combination of bathroom facilities and cooking facilities. If there's no cooking facilities in the kitchenette, my question would be, then why is it called a kitchenette on the plans if there's no cooking facilities?
I mean,
So if there's no cooking facilities, then it wouldn't constitute a second dwelling unit.
I mean, we could label it something else. I mean, that maybe we could call it something else, certainly. I mean, it's not, there won't be any cooking, there won't
Yeah,
be
because
any
I
range
have
or
no
oven.
issues on a zoning side with a refrigerator, a pantry, a sink, a washer and dryer up there. The only issue comes in when there's cooking facilities. I think maybe it's just a labeling change I think would clear things up.
Sure.
And also, I think we should put in a condition that should this get approved, it will never be used as a second dwelling unit.
That would be included in the deed notice.
Or I would
Yeah.
maybe just
That would
add,
be included in the deed notice, sorry, I had to say.
I would just maybe add something along the lines that there can't be any cooking facilities
Cooking,
installed
yes.
unless they return back to the board for D1.
Sure.
Fair?
And so to lift the condition, if, assuming there's no zoning change, to lift the condition, we'd have to come back to the board.
Ms. Swan?
I think I'm okay with.
It was never intended to be a cooking kitchen, correct?
No.
You've just labeled it kitchenette?
Correct.
Could've-
Makes you feel better, I
It
don't-
could have been called a den, right?
Correct.
With a refrigerator. A wet bar? I heard that used. A bar. Just as long as your son doesn't use the bar.
Right, we could call it a coffee bar,
gotta
then
have a
maybe
I
he could
wouldn't
use it.
call it a bar. I wouldn't call it a
I don't
bar.
want to interfere in the legalese here.
Sure.
And I don't think that the panel does either. So there has to be some sort of an agreement if we want to continue. I mean, we're going to continue either way, but I don't want you to mislead any of the members of
I mean, we've done this before in other town, I'm not with this board, Mr. Chair, but we have done this in other town. Because the concern is the deed restriction is forever, and this board can't lift, even if it wanted to, could not lift one. So it would have to go to the Chancery Division, and that's a whole other kettle of fish. So I would say the happy medium would be the deed notice just basically says, hi, this is a deed notice. We've got this resolution. It's attached here to as Exhibit A, and we submit it to the county clerk for a recording, and the resolution speaks for itself. And that way, any future,
I'm familiar with it,
Yeah.
and it's happened before, but I have to take advice
Sure,
from
of
from
course.
council. So if council, if you two are going to agree, then the board will at least know that we're in a safe territory here.
I'm comfortable with it.
Okay, and Ms. Swan, you
Yeah, me too.
understanding? Do any of the professionals, you have any input?
We did not review this application.
Okay. You going to testify anymore? That
do you have anything you want to add?
just stay, because somebody might have some questions. Why don't we go to the questions on my left? None?
I just have a quick question. As far as what constitutes cooking, can they put a microwave or
Air fryer?
yeah, air fryer or toaster oven, or, I'm just saying, like, is that, is it a stove and an oven that constitutes cooking?
Correct, yes. There's,
Okay, so,
correct.
I mean, a microwave is a microwave, it doesn't matter. And then, just another quick question with just logistics. If and when the house is sold, I know you're not planning it right this second, but how does that affect the next person? Is that deed restriction then follow through?
Correct, so it wouldn't be the deed restriction, it would be a deed notice, and it runs with the land. So whenever you buy the house, you get your title binder, it's gonna be in the title binder saying, hey, this property is being bought subject to this deed notice, and then everybody's gonna be flagged, what's in this deed notice, and it's gonna say the resolution, and then you're gonna see what the restrictions are.
Okay, yeah, because she's agreeing to it, but the next person may not. But now they have to.
They will have to be
All right.
notified.
Right,
Correct, by title.
thank you.
Mrs. Swan, I drove through the area. Very few homes have a second story. Is there any reason for that?
No, probably that's how the Madison Garden area was developed. But I do see that some newer homes are making those additions and the area is slowly transforming because these are smaller homes. So when there is a need to add additional space or a bedroom, people are coming in with those additions. So there is a house, and their planner can testify diagonally opposite, which is also
Right across.
a two-floor structure.
And there's nothing in the R6 that says you can't.
No.
So, and are you going to be removing the roof to add the addition? Oh, that's the next.
We have an architect, so
Okay.
that's a
Yeah. Other than that,
question
thank
for
you.
him.
Mr. Izzo?
This is for you, Mom, Dad, and your son. One entrance, one home, everybody lives under the roof. I'm good.
Ms. Andrews?
Yes, I noticed, I read it's the one car parking space. Now you're asking for 4. Where would that be? Street parking? Or you have,
I think we're going to hear from
I'm
you
sorry,
about
okay.
that.
We have,
Okay.
if we can answer that with a different
Okay,
witness.
thank you.
Okay.
I think, yeah, one of the professionals is going to put that on the record versus the applicant.
We're off the hook again.
I have none. I'm good.
Great, thank you.
You wanna bring
That's-
up
we'll bring our next witness, please.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Right,
Sir,
so
please
this-
raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Please state your name and spell your last for the record.
John Brower, Brower.
Over to you, Counselor.
Thank you. So if you would just give us the benefit of your background and
Sure.
qualifications.
Graduate of New Jersey Institute of Technology with a 5-year professional degree in architecture in 1992. Licensed to practice architecture in the state of New Jersey since June of 1998. My license is active and up to date.
Thank you, Mr. Brower. We accept your credentials and your expertise.
All right, if you could maybe give us a more detailed description of the existing home.
Sure, as has already been stated, the home is a ranch-style home with a partial finished basement. The type of home is very typical throughout that neighborhood, as we're all aware. The square footage of the existing home has a footprint of 1,441 square feet, which has already been stated. There's 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms in the existing house as it stands right now. There is an enclosed, they have a rear patio that runs across the width of the house, and there is a small enclosed area in the back. I don't know if that was built before the home was purchased, but they plan on keeping that existing enclosure as it is right now.
And so how big is the home currently?
1,441 square feet.
And so when we're seeking to add, well, can you tell us the number of bedrooms and bathrooms and what we're adding?
Yeah, as we already stated, it's 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms.
And what are we adding? What are we adding?
The parents, as stated, they're looking to downsize and move into the home by creating this in-law suite with this proposed partial second floor addition. The proposed addition is 1,126 square feet.
And then just for the record, if you could just explain why we're a single dwelling and not 2 dwellings.
As it's designed, the proposed spaces on the second floor would create 2 additional bedrooms, a small office space, a common hall bathroom, the living area, and this kitchenette with the laundry closet. The kitchen has no stove, as has already been testified, only a refrigerator and cabinetry for their own personal use, separate from the main kitchen. The proposed addition is completely open to the first floor below and has no separate entry door from the exterior. There are no separate utilities proposed for this addition, and this addition cannot be used and isn't designed to be an accessory dwelling unit or an apartment.
And as far as the elevations and facades, obviously, we're adding a second floor, so there's going to be a change in the facades. Can you just kind of explain what we're going to be seeing?
Sure, there should be upgrades with vinyl siding and asphalt shingles. With respect to the roof, the question about that, whatever structure is not being touched, that will remain. But in terms of finishes, they'll have all new finishes on the entire house.
And it'll be consistent with the existing neighborhood?
Absolutely.
And then, I guess, do you have the zoning table on one of the boards you have? So I mentioned, well, obviously, we're looking for an FAR variance, so we don't conform with that requirement. And we have some existing nonconformities with the setbacks that were approved by this board, so they're granted by variance. But can you walk us through some of the other zoning bulk standards that we do comply with?
With respect to all the setbacks on the property, we conform, the second floor conforms with all of those. We also conform with height, and as was stated, the only reason we're here is for the floor area ratio.
And we also comply with the minimum landscape area ratio, is that right?
Yes.
And just for the benefit of the board, can you just tell us what the maximum height allowed in the zone is?
Maximum height is 35 feet,
And what are we proposing?
25'4".
So we're well below the
Well
maximum
below
height.
the height limit.
All right, that's all the questions I have.
I have no questions.
I'll start on my left again. Ms. Fahrenbeck.
Parking spaces. Did I miss that? Are you adding any?
Our planner is going to talk about that.
Oh, okay, thanks.
None? Ms. Gomez? No. No questions. Spinelli? I'm good, thank you. Mr. Scogno?
Yeah, I brought up the roof because I believe there's solar panels there now.
Yeah, those solar panels will need to be removed in order for the work to take place, and they're planning on reinstalling them onto the...
And rerouted again.
Yes.
Thank you.
Nothing.
Mr. Rizzo, no? Nope. Mr. Andrews?
No question.
You have a couple existing non-conforming situations, but that's already there, and you've talked about all that have conformed, as well as the height. I saw that was mentioned. I have nothing. Ms. Sawant?
No, I have nothing.
Gentlemen?
Okay. All right, we'll have one more witness.
Why not?
Okay, Mr. Taikina?
Sir, please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Please state your name and spell your last for the record.
John Tykina, T as in Thomas, A-I, K as in Kelly, I-N as in Nicholas A. I'm a licensed planner in the state of New Jersey, have been since I completed my studies at Rutgers University in 1992. I've been a planner in New Jersey for those 34 years, most of the time doing this, testifying for planning and zoning boards across the state and around the country on behalf of applicants just like this.
Mr.
I was
Tykina,
last
has
here
it-
in 2024.
You have testified before this board before, and
Yes.
not all that long ago, and certainly will accept his credentials and his
Thank you.
expertise.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
Mr. Chairman. If you could talk about the variances, and now there's been some questions about parking, so if you could address that as well, please.
Certainly. So we are here for a D4 variance for FAR that exceeds the requirement of 0.35. We're proposing 0.395. That equates to 292 square feet that we are over. And if you were to look at the exhibit,
Step in, Mark, Counselor.
These were all submitted with their applications.
all right,
It doesn't have to be marked, but if we're
Wanna
going to
reference
draw.
it?
Yeah, if we're going to draw on it, then we'll have to mark it.
Mm-hmm.
if you look at the second floor plan,
So sheet
Um,
A2.
this is A2. Yep, thank you. That equates to roughly, the bedroom area. So that it would be 10 feet wide, and the addition is approximately 28, so maybe 11 feet wide. And the addition is approximately 28 feet deep. So it would basically be where the closet is. That's the amount of extra space that we're talking about when you talk about it. So as Ms. Kraskowski talked about, she is creating a modern, multi-generational household. Lennar actually sells one of these as part of their housing types, because that is a type of living that is very desired around the country these days, and Ms. Kraskowski is just creating one right here in Old Bridge. But that's the amount of space that we're talking about. For D4 variance, the standard is set forth in a case called Randolph Town Center, where it was held by the Supreme Court that you have to meet the Coventry standard, or the conditional use standard, that says the use is permitted, we're allowed to have the use, we only need to talk about how are we accommodating the additional space, and can the site accommodate that additional space here. And then, as always, we need to talk about advancing purposes of zoning and our negative criteria, as with all of your relief. So again, the standard was set forth in Randolph Town Center, supported again in Price v. Hemej, which affirmed the modern Randolph Town Center was a 90s case. Price v. Hemej was a 2013 case, where the Supreme Court kind of took advantage of having a case in front of them with multiple types of relief, and they said bringing all of this up to modern parlance, and explained it and said, yes, this is still the standard, this is still how we should look at it, and it's still appropriate. That we have to talk about how do we deal with the additional 292 square feet, and is it well accommodated on the site? And again, I think specifically on this property at 28 Purdue Road, it is. And it is first and foremost because of Mr. Brower's very nice architecture. Again, in having the addition at every opportunity on the front facade and on the two side facades, he stepped the building in from the sides. It's not all the way out to the edges. It's stepped in so that, again, it's minimized in terms of its overall bulk and scale in the neighborhood. I recognize Madison Park is a ranch neighborhood. There are four two-story homes within, there's two on this block at 29 and 12 Purdue. There's one right across the street. There's one on Wellesley behind us, and there's one on Colby, the cul-de-sac that is behind us on the other side of Purdue. So there's only four. It hasn't happened. The typical addition that happened in Madison Park is there was a carport, and like this owner, it wasn't this owner, it was the one previous, filled in the carport when they had a fire in '98. That's the typical addition that has been done to the homes over the years, is the carport being filled in, and then the next evolution is going to be going up. Again, I think that in this instance, because of this sensitive architectural treatment, stepping in from the sides, and only being 25 feet high. And I think that is a critical importance, that again, it's not maxed out in terms of height. It's very sensible in terms of how it relates to the neighborhood. The further consideration, again, FAR is used to regulate height and bulk, typically of commercial uses. It's only occasionally been used in residential uses, started in Rumson. Its use is typically with commercially developed. The homes that it typically looks to limit are the monster houses, the ones that are going to totally overshadow and be massive in terms of how big they would be on lots, et cetera. This is not a monster house. This is a sensible and modest addition to the single-family home. It is only 25 feet high. It steps in on each side. Further, there is not a big gathering area in the house for entertainment, et cetera. It's not a house that is looking to have big gatherings, all those types of things. It is just a home that is looking to have a single four-person multi-generational family. And most importantly, it is a single-family home. The rooms that are being added are not huge. In no way is a 14 by 11 master bedroom huge by any stretch of the imagination. Everyone wanting to have their own space in the home is very wise. I liken it to the saying, good fences make good neighbors. Well, a little bit of space for everybody to go to their own corner makes for a peaceful household. And with all the love, nobody wants to share their bathroom with a teenager. So being able to have a separate bathroom there is a good thing. In terms of the purposes of zoning, I'd submit to you there are three. E, to promote the establishment of appropriate population densities and concentrations that contribute to the well-being of persons and neighborhoods and the preservation of the environment. We're proposing the density spot on in the R6 district, a 6,500 foot lot with a single-family home on it in a 6,500 square foot zone. And we are proposing to continue the single-family use. And most importantly, and Mr. Rizzo talked about it, there is no separate entrance. There's no way to set up a separate entrance. Everybody's going to come in the front door or come in the side door. You're entering either into the main foyer, or you're entering into the kitchen and the den area. To get to the stairs, you need to walk all the way through the first floor to get to the stairs in the back of the house to be able to get upstairs. So again, there's no, so the stairway is literally, the base of the stairway is literally right in the back center of the house. So it's not set up to even be able to set up a separate entrance. And most importantly, as you see on the Exhibit A2, the stairway is open to below. It's an open stairway, so there'll be an open passage from top to bottom, really without a way to close it off. There's not a way to put a door up, put a wall up, that it works that way. It is designed as a multi-generational single-family home, physically, and that's the most important way to be able to distinguish it. Purpose I, to promote a desirable visual environment through good civic design and arrangement. Again, I think Mr. Brower's done a very nice job of designing a pretty house. It's an addition that's attractively set back and away from the front and side edges of the house. It's an attractive building that is significantly more attractive than the 1950s ranch Cape Cod vernacular, and I live in a 1960s ranch, so I'm very familiar with that vernacular. That's currently on site. The proposed architectural vernacular supports the continued investment in the neighborhood. And M, to encourage the coordination of the various public and private procedures affecting land development with a view towards lessening the cost of such development and to the more efficient use of the land. Utilizing the existing home and building up on the site is the most efficient way to do it. It allows the investment to accomplish at a lower cost and, most importantly, with fewer impacts in terms of stormwater, light and views, et cetera. In terms of our exceptions, the exception, and to get the parking. So we are a single-family home. Your ordinance requires 2 parking spaces for a single-family home. We have a 17-foot wide driveway. 20 feet wide would be 2 parking spaces. So we think that's enough. The family think that's enough because of their cars. They have a Civic, they have a Hyundai Tucson. Nobody's driving Suburbans and F-150s. So we think that we have more than enough room to be able to park on the site. So we would request a waiver to continue the existing nonconformity of the 17-foot wide driveway. We don't think it's necessary to be any wider. We are substantially below the impervious, the required landscape area. We're above the required landscape area. We're substantially below the impervious coverage. So if we wanted 3 more feet of pavement, we can do it. We just don't think it's necessary. We think it's more appropriate to keep it at the scale that it is, and that's consistent with what's been there for many years. That waiver is reasonable and consistent with the existing site conditions. Strict compliance is impractical and unnecessary in this specific case. In terms of the negative criteria, again, first prong is we're not going to have a substantial detriment to public good. The proposed development is a multi-generational single-family home. It is not an noxious use. This is kind of going back to mom and apple pie when your parents lived with you or moved out, whatever the case may be. The proposed FAR for single-family house is still a less intensive use than many homes that we see in the township. The high quality and sensitive architecture proposed is critical to the site accommodating the added FAR. The second floor steps in from the sides and the front, and most importantly, is only 25 feet high. No variance should be granted if we impair the intent and purpose of the zone plan or the master plan. The R6 district provides us single-family homes on 6,500-foot lots. That is exactly what we're proposing. The additional 293 square feet does not impair that purpose. I don't believe that there's certainly no impairment. In terms of the master plan, the 2017 master plan and the 2017 and 2022 reexamination reports were silent on the R6 district, as it should be. There have been no problems associated with the R6 district. This neighborhood has been growing families for my entire life. My last time in Madison Park, before I was there tonight, was on a date when I was a junior in high school, going to pick somebody up on Princeton Road, so it all came flushing back. But this neighborhood has been a very stable neighborhood, a wonderful place to raise families for many, many years, and we don't believe this is going to impair that in any way. Accordingly, I believe the board has the ability to make the requisite findings and approve the application. I'm available for your questions.
Mr. Watt?
So actually, I don't have a question for John, but I do have a question for Pat. So, because I'm trying to rationalize in my head, right? How do you differentiate between an ADU? Like today, if they wouldn't have introduced this application as an in-law suite, right? Nothing can stop me from having my parents move into my house.
Correct.
But at the same time, our township ordinance does not specifically allow ADUs.
Yeah.
Right? So then, how do you differentiate? I mean, clearly, we cannot prohibit them from, we cannot prohibit Ms. Krakowski from having her parents move in, but at the same time, it's actually 2 families that are cohabiting. And what is your experience? Because I know that there are many towns that are considering changes in ordinance to allow or disallow ADUs, right? But this is technically an ADU, but it's one structure. So Danny and I have been texting each other that, okay, we need to clean up our definitions. But it's a concern because how do we stop anybody from putting a stove on the top, right? And I'm an architect myself. If I want to, and your architect will agree with me too, if I want to, I can create two entrances. Like have a small vestibule inside with a door going to the staircase, a stairway upstairs, and a door, like typical two-family homes of the 70s and 80s. So, what do you think about it?
Well, it's an interesting question that, thank you for putting me on the spot at 9:27 at night. So I don't have much experience because the use of ADUs for the fourth round is something that's unique to the 2025 regs. So there's not a lot. There are a lot of towns, like you've mentioned, that are considering the utilization of ADUs for their fifth round, but it's something that came out so late in the game for the fourth round that no one really got a chance to get ahead on it. Here, realistically, using this property as an ADU is almost non-feasible by the way of the deed notice that's going to prevent it from it.
I think that's how we cover ourselves, right?
Correct. And it's not even so much as covering yourselves, it's just making it feasible. Because in the future, let's assume in the fifth round, the township has an interest in utilizing ADUs. That's something that you guys could always approach the property owner saying, hey, we have an interest in using this property as one of our fifth round credits.
See, but there's two things to it, right? The benefit to affordable housing with the ADUs came much later with the fourth round.
Yeah.
But ADUs did exist before, where towns were contemplating that, you want your parents to be next to you or close to you, or you want to take care of your ailing parent, or rather, I would want my teenager to have a separate room so that I don't have to deal with him. But, so it's something for us to think, and maybe when we create our annual zoning report, we make a recommendation that, we reevaluate these definitions at some point.
No, I agree. And just as the concern for how this would not be an ADU, like, yeah, it would be easy to make this one.
Yeah.
It's when they go for a CO, the construction official's never going to sign off on it because they're not allowed.
But you heard the previous application, right? A powerhouse gym has existed for so long, and it
You
was
have a
never
different
granted
zoning
a use variance. Yes, but I mean, just because the building department sees it doesn't mean that people don't go and make those changes. I'm not trying to create a problem. I'm just trying to bring up a policy issue.
Yeah,
Exactly, you're in a policy issue where
Yeah.
this applicant.
Yeah, I just don't want the
I would just,
Please put on the record what an ADU is.
accessory dwelling
accessory
unit,
dwelling
yeah.
unit. I just don't want the applicant to panic that I'm putting a kibosh on the application. It's not to do with your application, it's a policy issue that I'm discussing. And I do understand the concern,
Correct.
and
And this applicant did specific things that do not lend themselves to making it an ADU, to making it a second unit, by where they located the stairs, how they designed the stairs, all that is differently. When you think about that, they put in they put in a new stairway. It could have gone anywhere. If you were gonna do this and set it up to be a second unit, you would have put it against the left-hand wall where the side door is, and boom, bing, bang, boom, you can divide it. They didn't do that because they're gonna live as one family, as one household. Actually, zoning has gone beyond quote unquote the family aspect of it. It's they're gonna live as one housekeeping unit. They're all gonna live together. They have one kitchen. They have separate bedrooms, as we all do, and but they're gonna live as one household, one housekeeping unit.
Right, and there
That's the important
are a number of cases that I'm sure your attorney could tell you are define family well beyond what many of us would think of as a nuclear family. There's a case that talks about how a number of college students going to a university could conceivably be considered a housekeeping unit because they all eat together, converse together, they interact with each other. They're not separate transients living under one roof. So they are. It's a famous Supreme Court case down in Glassboro, and This is certainly a single family. I don't know that anybody really is disagreeing with me on that. So I don't, not to put anything in anybody's mouth. But to be clear, this is one family living in the home. As far as the ADUs are concerned, there's always, every legislative session, there's a bill that gets proposed that talks about it. And usually they're contemplated as separate structures as opposed to creating a two-family residence out of a single-family residence. I don't know how much traction it's going to get, but they talk about whether, and we talk about this at some of our bar association meetings, and what that might imply, but usually you still have to conform with the existing zoning, except the town would allow the second structure on the lot. But that's certainly not what this is. So
I think we need to refocus.
Sure,
on
I
this
apologize.
application.
I don't
And
mean-
know
trying.
This is like a forum for attorneys.
Right,
and
I apologize.
While I want certainly I want your opinion, and I
Sure.
seek counsel from ours. I think we need to refocus on.
Absolutely. I apologize,
For the board. and-
Chairman,
and I'm
I
not-
have no further questions.
Thank you. I figured that.
We're blaming Vina.
I want to see if the board members have any questions for the planner. Starting on my left. Coming up, Mr. Scogno?
I'm just concerned about the solar panels, removal and then reinstalling them. You're doing the addition and then you're gonna come back with I heard some scary stories about these solar panels coming back on improperly done, and it could ruin the whole project.
Well, we hope,
just a
one,
caution.
we'll make sure our contractor is well-versed in that concept.
Mr. Rizzo? No, sir, I'm good. Ms. Andrews? No? You know, the only thing I'd say while I have you here, and I'll pick your brain, the question came up before, why are there so few other houses topped off there in the area, in those streets? And I think you would probably agree with me, this is post-World War II, probably post-Korea housing.
53.
That were utilitarian in nature, and they were sized for the beginning family, and that's where they were used for, with not a lot of room, not a lot of lot, and those that came into the 70s, 80s, wound up either, if they want more space, they left and got a bigger home. And I think that's what's happening today. Although I praise this family for doing it all under one roof and staying there, staying here in the township rather than going somewhere else. Would you agree that that's probably the reason that it's not happening? It's too expensive to top it off just for the sake of topping it off.
Correct.
If you want more land, you're gonna go elsewhere.
Correct. You're gonna make a move and go somewhere else. And before, earlier in the process, even up through the 80s and 90s, you could do that even with an old bridge and make the step up to the next, to the next size house or whatever the case may be. Now it's a little harder to do that as everything has gotten more expensive. But, my family did the same thing in Sherwood South. We, when the fourth child was born and she wasn't a brother, we needed another bedroom. My parents went up, and that's how they did it.
Well, it's certainly understandable, and it's admirable that the family wants to do that. I mean, it takes 3 adults and 1 minor. I was gonna, Counselor, can I ask him one question, and he's not under oath? Would he be willing to?
Yeah.
You could just stand up.
Boy.
Do you want this to happen? Thank you.
thank you.
I appreciate that, Counselor. But, no, I'm happy that you can put a family all together under one roof, and most people wouldn't want to do that, so I can tell the closest to the family. I certainly would support this. I don't know how everybody else is going to vote. I'm assuming you're going to ask for, you don't have any more witnesses, right?
No, I do not, and
I am going to go to a public portion. I have to open it anyway, and as you realize, if you have nothing else to say, I'll give you the last word, obviously.
No, I will waive whatever closing.
Okay, 54-2025Z, this is 28 Purdue Road for the second floor addition. Anyone here in the room wish to be heard on the matter, please stand or raise your hand. There are no others here except those here for the application, Counselor. I can close the public portion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
I am going to do so. Final word, sir?
No, sir, thank you.
Okay, you would be asking us for a vote?
Yes, please.
All right, the only matter we have here is a D4, correct? There's no bulk?
That's correct.
All right, so it's a
That's
D4.
correct.
The size, it's going from, what did I write? It's 35 going to 39.395, right?
Correct.
De minimis in nature.
Correct.
Okay. So it's for, it's not, we're not voting for just the D4, we're going to do the, just D4. We don't have a plan.
It's a D4 with a design waiver from being required to have 4 parking spaces for the existing one, but the applicant has testified they have 17 feet of width, and therefore can satisfy with 2 parking spaces.
No, it's a single-family home, requires 2 parking spaces. That would require 20 feet in width on the driveway. We only have 17. We are seeking a waiver to have a 17-foot wide driveway for 2 parking spaces. That is the correct.
Okay, that's corrected, everybody understands that? And along with an agreement,
There'll be a deed notice placed on the property.
So that way
Counselor?
it's clear, yes. Yeah.
okay, everybody understands that as well? Ms. Swan? Okay. Anyone interested in moving this for approval?
I do.
Gomez?
Well, I have Mr. Izzo
Gomez?
and Ms. Gomez. Roll call.
Ms.
D4.
Andrews?
D4 and design waiver.
Yes.
Ms. Gomez?
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo?
Yes.
Mr. Scogno?
Yes.
Ms. Spinelli?
Yes, I think it's a wonderful idea.
Ms. Fernbach?
Yes.
And Chairman Sullivan.
Yeah, I wish you the best of luck. It is a fantastic idea. I'm glad to see that family units are still cohesive. I wish you the best of luck. My vote is yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Have a
much.
good
Thank you
evening,
for your
everybody.
presentation, Counselor. All right, I could open up a general public comments, but there's no one here.
So we're going to say that this was a no-show?
I will read this into the record, right? Because it's, what do you want to do on it?
Correct, Mr. Chairman. So for the next one, because it does not appear that the applicant's here, after the hearing is opened up, the board has the choice to either dismiss the application without prejudice or adjourn the application with the requirement that the applicant renotice, which I would strongly recommend they simply adjourn the application with the renoticing requirement in light of a potential jurisdictional issue.
So there's no reason for me to read it into the record in that case.
No, we just have to call the application so we can make it note that they're not here.
Okay, 63-2023Z, Juan Figueroa, 1123 Englishtown Road. Anyone here on that matter? Counselor, there's no one responding.
All right, Mr. Chairman, because the applicant failed to present, the board's choice is either to dismiss the application without prejudice for lack of prosecution or alternatively adjourn the application for a new date with new notice required, which I would strongly recommend the latter.
Okay. Board members,
Agree.
as suggested by council?
Yes.
All in favor? Is there any opposed? Good, Counselor?
That's good.
All right. We have no other matters unless, Vina, anything from the township that you wanted to bring up? None. Legal end?
Nothing from me, Mr. Chairman.
Anybody on the board? No? I wish everybody a good, oh, no, we're going to meet again before the actual no, we won't, 21st. We'll meet after. No, when summer is what, the 21st or 20th, isn't it?
No, the 18th.
Summer?
No.
The meeting, I'm talking about when summer actually starts. All right, someone want to call a motion to adjourn?
Adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Any opposed? We stand adjourned, thank you.